Hello, my damn scrumptious ravens. I've been trying to make this video for a very long time, so I'm really glad that I'm finally taking some time out and getting it done. The purpose of this video is to talk about something that I recently did in my life, some changes that I made, and they proved to be really good for my mental health. So I just wanted to share that in case there was someone else that was struggling to make these changes or contemplating making these changes. And this is someone who has been through it. Like, I've been through it, I've done it, so I can totally relate to what you're feeling. So basically what it started with is a few months ago, I just started being more honest with myself. And one of the things that I was honest with myself about is I have struggled with being a people pleaser for a very long time. I wanted people to like me, especially men or boys. And I think that was rooted in when I was growing up. I didn't have very many friends, and I didn't quite click with a lot of the girls. So naturally, a lot of the boys were my friends because I was involved in sports and I had all these different interests that were like predominantly male interests at the time, I guess. And I just wanted them to like me, because if they didn't like me and I didn't click with girls, then I would like have no one. And I realized that those feelings translated to later parts of my life as well, and sometimes even in my streaming life, where there were things being said sometimes, or things being done that made me uncomfortable, or things that seemed very questionable, or like just rubbed me the wrong way, and I just wouldn't address it because I didn't want to lose the people. So that was something that I had to be honest with myself about. Like, why are you keeping these people around? Gotcha, because you're afraid of being alone, like them not liking you anymore, them thinking poorly of you. And by that same tangent, I was keeping people around in my life that I didn't have negative feelings towards or anything, but I just didn't see the need to speak with them every single day or every other day or very, very often. And usually the conversations would go along the lines of, hey, good morning. How's work going? Work's going well. Yeah, oh my God, it's so stressful. Yeah, you should definitely do yoga and stuff. That's gonna help with the stress. Yeah, I definitely should. Okay, good night. Like, that was the course of the text during the day. They were very frivolous. They had no weight to them, and they were just adding on to more texts that I had to. And I'm not saying this in a cocky way at all. I'm not saying this as a boastful manner, like, so many people were messaging me, so many people were in my DMs. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not the life I want. That's nothing to be proud of for me. That's not the vibe I'm trying to give off. I'm trying to give off like, I don't want that, and that's what was happening to me. And I'm a small streamer, so I can only imagine how this feels for bigger streamers. So I got a little bit of taste. I got a little taste of that, and I had to be honest with myself in recognizing that you don't have to continue speaking with people every day or very often if you don't see the point in doing so. You are entitled to use your time the way you choose to use it. And if you don't want to use it on responding to a whole bunch of messages, that is okay. We need to normalize being accepting and not judging of how people choose to spend their time when it's not like with us or on us. And it's, unless you're in a relationship or something, then like you have an agreement with that person. So I had to be true to myself about the fact that I was a people pleaser, and that's why I was letting a lot of things fly under the radar, and I was continuing to converse and interact with people even though it was actually negatively contributing to my mental health, constantly talking with them. And I think those two things were so important to me. I felt the need to continue friendships. I felt the need to continue communicating with people to maintain friendships that were not really bringing me a positive mental health. positively affecting my mental health, impacting my mental health, I had to learn that you can choose to continue to be friends with people and be acquaintances with people without needing to speak with them often or every day. And just because you make that decision and you communicate that with them doesn't make you a bad person, and doesn't mean you suddenly have beef, or suddenly mean that, oh God, we're not talking all the time. That I don't want them to suddenly start thinking like we're not okay, we're not cool, start to think ill of me, start to think poorly of me, start to feel like sad and bad that I'm not spending my time on them. You can only heal so many people, you can only help so many people, and when your mental health is deteriorating, it's important to recognize when you need to take a step back and focus on yourself. And that's essentially what I did with those two major things of condoning behaviors that I was not okay with because of the fear of losing people, and continuing friendships that were negatively affecting my mental health because of the fear of losing people. I had to address both of those things and be like, this is not good for my mental health. I need to fix my life. So what I did was I reflected on myself. I realized where I needed to make these changes. I had to muster up a lot of courage to eventually take action and speak with these people and have these uncomfortable discussions of why I was feeling the way I was feeling, what they did to upset me, or what they did to make me feel uncomfortable, or what changes I wanted to make in our friendship going forward, or what I needed from them going forward, what I couldn't give them going forward, and etc., etc., etc. And once I had the courage to execute these decisions that I had made, I acknowledged the possible consequences, and in most cases I thought they were probably going to leave the server, stop being my friend, whatever it is. I acknowledged those consequences, and I was ready for those consequences. I was prepared for them. I was okay with them. And I just feel like, learning and accepting and internalizing that we are not entitled to anyone's affection, we are not entitled to anyone's attention, is really important, because I think so often we are expected to respond to texts and be on top of, doing these crazy things in our lives, like also working, also finding family time, also finding time for self-development and passions and hobbies and streaming, and finding time for friends, and finding time for like me time. And it's just, there's only so many hours in the day left afterwards where you can just choose to spend it on whatever you want. And sometimes people feel like you should spend that time on them, spending time with them, responding to their messages, listening to things that they're going through in their lives. And although there's nothing wrong in that, I think it becomes a problem when that becomes an expectation, and especially when it's unwarranted. You're not in a relationship with this person, you are not like super deep close friends with this person, and they have these expectations of you. It can definitely feel very overwhelming and very exhausting. So I had to contact certain people and let them know that I would like to make these changes going forward, and I was ready for them to leave. And I am really glad that I did that, because all of those changes that I did positively affected my mental health. I no longer care very much about losing people, losing followers, losing community members, whatever it is. I pride myself in the positive space that I've created. That's my community. And if someone chooses to not stick around because I am calling them out for something that they did that made me uncomfortable, and they can't understand, or they can't be accountable for that, or they can't just be like, oh shoot, I messed up, I'm sorry, and just move forward from that, then that's okay. That's a choice that they're making, and I've made the choice to let them know, and then the ball's in their court. But that's definitely like a growth part of my life that I've had recently, where I've been like, I'm okay with losing people, and people might be like, oh my god, you're so cold or detached. But and if self-care is going to be seen as detached and cold, well, then I guess I'm detached and cold because I'm finally focusing on myself and my mental health and my happiness, and I'm finally putting myself first, which I haven't done in like ever, like years of my life. So for anyone out there who is struggling with any mental health issues that are worsened by people in your life, or the actions of certain people, or you know, you're contemplating cutting people out of your life, and you're like, and does that make me a bad person if I'm telling them, like, listen, I don't have time to respond to all your let me say one thing, right? We all have to also remember that the people who truly love you and care for you and actually want the best for you will at least try to understand where you're coming from. So if you're saying, like, listen, I'm just extremely busy, I'm falling behind in everything, I'm extremely stressed with work, I have so many things piling up, like, let's be real, my Discord is my priority out of all, like, personal DMs, personal messages, and all of that, aside from like any relationship that I'm in, or my family, or my stream itself. Like, my Discord is what I need to be on top of, which I fall behind on its own. So DMs and all of those can wait. And if people don't understand that, or they don't want to understand that, or they're irked by that, they'll just have to deal with it. And if they don't want to deal with it, they are more than welcome to make the choice and decision that is best for them. And if that means leaving the community or choosing to cut me out, I totally understand. So I do want to make that clear, that people who truly love you, care for you, and appreciate you, and understand what you're going through and the multiple things that are on your plate, they will understand, and they won't take a personal offense, like, you don't have time for me and my messages and all of this. It will be more like, okay, I understand, it sucks, but like, I understand, or at least I'm going to try to understand. So if you have a fear that this person is not going to be receiving that type of communication well, or you tell them and they don't receive it well, just know that it's a good time for you to reflect on whether they're a positive person to have in your life anyways. And the other little, tip that I wanted to give, or little reflective piece that I wanted to give, is you don't have to continue being friends with people that are either not positively affecting your life, or they're not negatively affecting your life, but there's just like too much communication that you need to stay on top of and you're unable to. That's okay. We are expected to do way much more than we actually can, and that time permits. And it's okay to fall behind. It's okay to communicate that you're falling behind and you cannot keep up with messages. I have told people that, and the people that truly were understanding, the people who like truly cared for me and understood me were like, dude, I totally get it. I'm just messaging you because I want to. Get to the messages whenever you can, but I just want to let you know, like, it's cool, like, thank you for letting me know, and I appreciate you letting me know that you're gonna be late with messages. It's totally fine. I understand you're busy. So I hope that helps anyone who might be struggling with this situation. I'm really happy that I went through with the decisions that I wanted to make for the betterment of my mental health, and in that department at least, it has definitely improved and the stress level has gone down. And if you are struggling with that, I totally get it. I've been there. But I do hope that you have the courage eventually to make the decisions that are best for you and best for your mental health. And yeah, I hope you all have a damn scrumptious day. And God willing, I will see you all soon. Take care, and Raven out.